Have you ever thought about starting to play the piano as an adult? Then guess what? You're not the only one. Whenever I meet new people and we start a conversation, I realize that almost everybody would love to play the piano. It seems like it's on everyone's bucket list. Some of them tell me, I would just wait until I get retired, but then I will start. And some of them took lessons in their childhood, but almost all of them quit in their teenage years. And then I regret it. They're still attached to the sound of the piano, and they would like to start playing again, but they know it would have to be in a somehow different way. When I was a kid, the first instrument I learned was the guitar. I immediately fell in love with this instrument. For me, practicing was fun, and I was very passionate about it. It didn't take long until I wanted to share my passion with others, so I started teaching at about age 14. Some years later, I discovered the piano. I was around 20 years old. And I was surprised by the fact that with only few technical abilities, I was already able to play something meaningful. Standing here now, I have about 25 years of teaching experience, mostly with adults. Before I fully went online or digital with my teaching, I often gave one-on-one teaser lessons. When people joined me for the first time, I always asked one simple question. What are you looking for? And my potential students always reacted by giving me a surprising look and said, well, you're the piano teacher, so teach me how to play. But my main motive for asking was to find out what they're really yearning for. Then there were always three answers. I want to feel joy in my life. Playing the piano has to be fun. Second, I want to have a relaxing experience. I just want to sit there after a stressful day and have a good time. Third, I want to regain some of the creativity that is lacking in my life. So in conclusion, they were all looking for a space where they could encounter these 3 points that I just mentioned. That's what they really wanted. Then there were also people who were already playing, but they were somehow stuck in the learning process. I asked them to play something, and some of them played so well that I thought, holy cow, what in the world can I teach them? Until I asked one simple question. Please play a variation of what you just played. Then they were stunned. It wasn't possible. And they would often tell me exactly the same story. I'm puzzled. I can play, but I also can't. I just feel like I'm pressing some keys on a keyboard instead of making real music. And I only know a certain amount of pieces. And for this, I need sheet music in front of me, or I learned them by heart. And whenever I'm done practicing all my pieces, I just start all over again with the first one, because I already forgot it. This is definitely not what I'm looking for. I would like to be able to play much more freely and express my feelings. Hearing this from all these people made me realize the way I wanted to teach piano was much more than just showing them where to press which keys. Making music should enrich their lives on a much deeper level. The big problem is that expectations are often so different from reality. I realized that these goals that I just mentioned before and traditional given methods simply don't fit. There is no creativity involved, and there's always a clear right or wrong and no freedom to move away from that. And they can't express the feelings. I always wondered how we got here, so I did a lot of research. At this time, I got a degree in organization management. And what I learned there had nothing to do with music at all. We learned how to manage big, huge, complex projects. We divided complex things into manageable pieces, worked on them, and put them together again. I thought that's interesting. This led me to the idea that this must also be possible for teaching music. What I found out during my research, there are basically two approaches to teaching piano. The first one is with sheet music, which is a very strict way of learning. And the second one is a quick fix tutorial to learn something as fast as possible. As you can imagine, YouTube is full of these tutorials. But neither of these two really suit the need for an adult learner, because on both systems, the context is missing. Context is the magic word. It seemed to me there's no actual framework out there for teaching piano. So the question is, what is a framework? A framework is a kind of a roadmap that gives us direction. All of us are used to having frameworks in our daily lives. A framework is always a structure with some freedom in it. Let me give you an example. All of us own a smartphone. Your installed operating system on your smartphone is always given. There's a structure you can't change. But the way we are using our smartphones varies from person to person. It depends on the individual's needs. So, I wanted to create a framework with exactly the same functionalities: structure and creativity. And my requirements for this one were, it should be easy for everyone to understand. Second, it should be possible to adjust it on every skill level. Well, but these two things contradict each other. So there was a lot of thinking going on. And some more thinking. And some more. And finally, I came along with this holistic method in one simple graphic. In this graphic, all learning processes on the piano could be visualized. It combines structure and creativity equally. Let's have a closer look to this graphic. You see these three circles in the middle? They represent the DNA of music. It's always harmony, melody, and rhythm, no matter what style of music you like. And the great thing about the piano is that we can easily combine these three elements. We don't need another instrument for it to sound great. So let me show you on the piano. When I'm talking about harmony, I'm talking about two notes or more simultaneously. They could be played with the left hand, with the right hand, or with both hands. Doesn't matter. Maybe I've heard the expression chords. That's pretty much the same. There are many chords out there. They would sound like this. Okay, so far so good. Then let's move to the next element. It's melody. Melody contains only single notes. Very easy. And the next element, rhythm, brings life in these two other elements. What I played just before at the beginning was the combination of these three elements, something like this. Okay, maybe I've heard some people playing something like this. And they always say the same. They're telling me, I sound somehow cut off. I think I need to practice more. But I wouldn't do that. I would practice differently. And I will just show you shortly. What I figured out, there are basically two main issues when it comes to learning to play the piano the traditional way. First, we only learn with our eyes. We look at something and then copy it. No matter if it's sheet music, it's an app, or a video tutorial. We always have this eye, brain, hands connection, which really slows down the learning process. Number 2, we try to combine these 3 elements, harmony, melody, rhythm, simultaneously. But our mind can concentrate only on one thing at a time. So my solution how to start to play the piano would look like this. Instead of combining these 3 elements together, we only focus on one element. Then we move from sense to sense. We learn each little part on its own until it gets really easy. As soon as something gets easy, it will be internalized. And as soon as something is internalized, we don't have to think about it anymore. It comes naturally. Let me show you the piano. The great thing about the piano is it's very easy. We only have black and white keys. And they have a specific order. And if you only understand just a small part of the piano, then we understand the whole keyboard, because it repeats all the time. So, imagine, first time on the piano. I would recommend starting like this. I just play with my right hand below the 2 black keys, 5 notes. Each note or each key has its finger. Very easy. Then of course we could name these notes. That's a C, D, E, F, and G. And as I told you before, we can also switch these notes above, so we have the same notes again, it just repeats, or below. Exactly the same. Then, an essential part to feeling music is hearing music. As soon as I start to hear these notes, I have a much deeper connection to music. Then let's move to the next element. It's harmony. I just place my left hand in the same manner to these keys. We have C, E, G played simultaneously. Do you remember? Harmony, 2 or more notes simultaneously. So that's a basic chord. I just can move this one a little bit up, and then I have another chord. I have these 2 chords. When I name them, that's a C and an F. And now let's combine these 2 elements, harmony and melody. Therefore, I just play the same notes again above, and I play the C chord. And now when I play them, some notes are in chime and some have a little bit more tension. And the magic starts when I change the harmony. Then suddenly these notes here become another color. Listen to it. I encourage my students to stay here for such a long time. There's no academic learning here, but they will learn a lot about music, how it works, when they only play these 5 notes and these 2 chords. Let's now move to the next element, rhythm. The most basic concept of rhythm is pulse. Whenever you listen to a piece of music and you start clapping or moving with this piece, then you feel the pulse. And most often we divide the pulse into 4 equal parts, so we can count on 4. I just can clap a pulse like this, and I can count on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, when we combine the elements, harmony and rhythm together, I could play these 2 chords that we just learned before. It will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. as I'm doing this correctly, a calming effect will start. It almost sounds like an introduction to a piece. Now let's combine the third element, melody, to it. Therefore, I just play on beat one of these 5 notes that I just showed before. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy. Now the creativity starts. I play now, sometimes on beat 1, sometimes on beat 2, 3 or 4, one of these 5 notes. And sometimes I'm just making a pause. Now listen to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Pause. Okay. These things learned and practiced correctly right from the beginning, that's the result of the first lesson on the piano. It would sound like this. So let me recap for you. On this concept, we have structure and creativity equally. I think when you start learning to play the piano this way, then you end up saying, playing the piano is one of my true passions. Thank you.